Okay, it's Thursday, March 16th, 10:44 a.m. at the East Coast of the United States. Let me just get the disclaimer out of the way. I'm not a financial advisor. This is only to be used as education and to please do your own research. So I did a live stream yesterday, not a live stream, but pre-recorded. I uploaded a video, and it was brought to my attention that there was a new governance proposal. So it was actually uploaded 10 minutes before I had the premiere of that video I talked about yesterday. So it kind of, they were saying, hey, did you check out the new governance proposal? We're thinking about maybe having a vote on whether to, instead of having, million token backed by $1 million worth of USDC. So each token would be at least worth a minimum of $1 as long as, the USDC holds its peg. And maybe another option would be have it backed by, Bitcoin or Ethereum, if that's even possible on Uniswap. I guess for Bitcoin, it would have to be wrapped Bitcoin. And I didn't see anybody talking about this on Telegram or Discord, which was kind of odd because, there's a procedure if you're going to upload a vote to, discuss it about in the community, Telegram or Discord, get some feedback. There's no point in putting something up for discussion or voting if the majority of the community thinks it's a bad idea. It's going to get shot down anyway. But so I posted on Telegram, hey, what are your thoughts about this idea of instead of having it backed by USDC, have it backed by ETH or wrapped Bitcoin as this governance proposal had suggested? And but I didn't want to be influenced. I didn't want to make a video about it and then influence other people. I wanted the community to discuss it among themselves, and there was some good discussion, I think mainly on Telegram. That's been going on for like 24 hours now. So it's good to see the community engaged. I like to see that. And so I was sitting down this morning. I was going to look through more of the discussions, and then I noticed the proposal got pulled from the governance site, probably because it didn't go through proper channels and stuff. But I thought it would still be worthwhile to discuss because it was pretty well written, except for one minor thing. And I just wanted to give you my thoughts. I think my thoughts were generally shared among the community on Telegram. But first, if you have a governance proposal, talk about it on either Telegram or Discord. Get some feedback. You could always shoot me a message over there. I've got a lot of pull with my wallet. I think right now not many people are voting, right? So if it's an important topic, I will vote on, and my vote wallet will be pretty big, like not at least 25%, I would say right now, as we get into a bull market and more people are into the coins and stuff, and or maybe if I sell some off later on in the future, my pull will be less. But right now we're in a bear market. I haven't sold any of my tokens. And many people have, so my pull is going to be more than when it was even a few months ago. So so if you go into the milliontoken.org website and you click the governance vote here, you will get a whole lot of spam. There was a lot of spam that's still going on that needs to be removed. It looks like also that you don't have to have a minimum of 1,000 tokens to make a governance proposal, which I think was the minimum to do. But the procedure is, to have probably, I thought the procedure was to have an admin approve it, and then they would probably need to post it. That would knock off a lot of the spam. So if, let's say, I don't know how many admins we have on Telegram or Discord, but let's say we have 5 on each. That would be 5 or 10 people that could potentially add a vote to the government's, and maybe only those wallets would be allowed to access the government's proposal website to post that for the individual that has suggested the proposal, let's say. So I hope they technically could work that in on the website, maybe assign a certain wallet address, and only those addresses admins could propose the government's proposal after it's been discussed amongst the community. I think that's where we're kind of headed. It was probably set up correctly before, but because we had that other website that hacked it or took it over, and then in a rush, maybe TechLead just put up the new government's proposal and it hasn't tweaked it a bit to discard the spamming. So I was also curious that the person who proposed this, this OX74CA CD1D wallet, hasn't actually been participating in the discussions, which is kind of odd. They just kind of made the proposal, even though it was fairly written pretty well. It's no secret who this wallet is. You could go to Etherscan, find out where those wallets came from, and then pull up who that individual is. But they are associated or have ties with the this other website, because if you look down here, this OX74CA CD1D whatever, they voted for to have the official milliontoken.org redirect it to another website. So that right there is not a good idea. You're not going to be winning votes from the official million token community if you if you're trying to pull them away. So that particular individual, even though it could be a good idea or worth discussing, it just doesn't look good. And I could go over who that individual is, but if you really want to know who it is, you could look it up yourself. It's pretty simple. I've had some beef with that individual in the past, but okay. So here are my thoughts. Should the USDC, it's backed by $1 million, a USDC at the $1 point, should that be changed to Ethereum or Bitcoin? And they were saying like, well, if we change it to Ethereum or Bitcoin, a couple of days ago, the floor wouldn't be $1, it'd be like $1.02 or whatever. And I think, if we had discussed this in the community before it was proposed, a better way to prove your point is, if in the long term, if you look at like Bitcoin, let's see now if I have it up here or not. I should pull it up a long chart. I'm not really prepared for this, but you could have said in the long term, Bitcoin always makes, higher lows, right? Down here it was, $200, and then the next low was, $3,000. And then maybe the lows in right now, I don't know, it could have been like $15,000. You could have made that argument, but to say, well, 2 days ago, it's just very short-sighted. So, if we were to, as a community, or if technically wanted to move USDC to Bitcoin or Ethereum as a peg, ideally you'd want to time the bottom, which probability-wise, it's not going to happen. So like if it was pegged to Ethereum or Bitcoin, it's going to get more complicated for the average newbie individual coming in, because as the market grows and you have bull runs, you just want to keep things simple. 1 million supply of max for a million token, and there's a 1 million max floor, $1 minimum base. So if you have a bear market like we have today, hopefully it's not going to get too far below $2 or whatever it was. I think it was like $1.90 or $1.80 yesterday. So if it was pegged to something else, I would prefer just to buy that particular asset. If it was pegged to wrapped Bitcoin, well, I don't want wrapped Bitcoin. I want my Bitcoin in the native form in my Bitcoin wallet, because if something happens with the the bridging or whatever, then all those wrapped Bitcoins are going to be worthless. If it was backed by Ethereum, well, I would just rather buy Ethereum and have it in my wallet as well. Why dilute it with 1,000, a million tokens backed by at the time of purchase of $1 million worth of Ethereum? So let's see now, if Bitcoin million token was put out on the market July 1st, 2021, which would have been, let's see now, where is it? It's coming down. That's June, July. So somewhere around when Bitcoin was $37,000. Let's see now, where is it? It's June, somewhere around here. And now Bitcoin is 33% less. So if TechLead had backed it by Bitcoin when it first came out, we wouldn't even be backed by $1. We would be backed by like, 70 cents, and, but if he bought it, if he pegged it when it was down here at the very bottom, when it hit that moving average, that purple moving average, then, if it was backed by $1 million then, and it's up 50%, it'd be backed by, $1.5 million. It's all hindsight. And, I think the proposal also, you got to understand that when Million Token first came out, it wasn't a DAO, right? There was no governance. This was Tech Lead's idea, keep it simple, 1 million fixed supply with, backed by $1 million. And everybody can understand that. And later on, Tech Lead said it was a DAO and things are voted on. But I don't think you could vote on the founding principles of I don't think you could change the 1 million fixed supply and the 1 million USDC backed by. If Tech Lead wants to make that decision himself, then I don't think he would. But if he wants to peg it by something else, then I think that would be his decision. It was his money, his idea, originally before there was any governance vote. So any governance vote on topics of changing the very original fundamentals of the token and the tokenomics, I don't think is subject to vote. It could be fun to vote on, and Tech Lead could take note of the community's votes on it, but that doesn't mean he has to follow on it, because this was all set up before we even had governance. So that's something to take in mind too. Just like we did have a vote to remove the USDC, right? And maybe put it toward marketing or something like that. Because I think it was suggested that, we didn't need the floor anymore because, it was doing so good or something like that. I think this was actually during the bear market when Million Token was coming down, and they thought maybe the money could be used better for marketing. Well, thank goodness, right? That floor is still there, because I can guarantee you, if Million Token didn't have a floor, we would be definitely below $1. And the only reason why, Million Token is kind of going sideways for all these months is because of that floor is there. And it's being bought up fairly quickly when we make new lower lows. So I think that's my thoughts. I think these are discussed, topics that were already discussed in the Telegram. So I think that's the main things I had about the voting. I think it was a good topic to discuss. I think these topics tend to come up during bear markets, because people panicking, right? We've got the recent U.S. banks had some troubles over the weekend. We weren't sure if the USDC was going to hold its peg. And because Million Token is pegged to USDC, if they lost its peg, let's say it just got wiped out. Let's say the Federal Reserve wasn't going to, bail out the banks again this time. Then Million Token, which I'm sure would be much lower than where it is, whatever it is now, $1.80 or $1.90. Because if USDC lost its peg and it's not worth $1 anymore, then it's just basically a one fixed supply, and it's the faith of the community that we decide what the value is, not so much the floor in a bear market. And right now there's not a lot of buying and selling, as I showed yesterday. I think I'm kind of talking in circles now. Look, I'm going to do another video today. I found some things in the chart for Bitcoin, and also this dynamic yield curve, which is kind of fun. Here's the .com bubble and the housing bubble, and you can kind of scroll your mouse over it, and you can see what the dynamic yield curve does and when it inverts. I'm going to discuss this in my next video today. I'm going to put 2 videos out today. So yeah, check out the official Discord. Go to the links for the milliontoken.org to find the links for Discord and the Telegram and the governance vote. Hopefully that'll get cleaned up pretty soon and tweaked, so we will have less spamming. And those are my thoughts on the Million Token governance proposal that has been already removed from the official governance. I don't think it's going to be put back up, honestly, anymore after what I've shown. Whenever these people from this other website makes these governance proposals, things just turn to shit. And now they're spamming the government site. So, but more in general, the discussions were kept, in a professional level on Telegram, and I think the majority of the people in the community would vote no. No, don't change the USDC peg. It's simple, and even though there's arguments that could say, if you look back, 20, 30, 40 years from now, and if it was pegged for Bitcoin or USDC rather than, if Million Token was pegged to Bitcoin or Ethereum rather than USDC, you could probably say in 20, 30, 40 years from now that the floor would have been raised, because hopefully those assets will go up. I mean, eventually Bitcoin's kind of probably be worth $1 million. So, and USDC is still going to be pegged to $1. So the idea is that, eventually people will get the idea that it's not so much that it's being pegged by an asset of like $1 or Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's the main benefit of Million Token is it's a fixed supply that's evenly distributed amongst the community, and hopefully, the transfer fees will be low. I know the kind of pain in the butt on Ethereum. It's like cost me like it's about $5 to transfer USDC back to Coinbase recently. And if you want to buy and sell Million Token on Uniswap, it's going to cost you like $5 or $6 probably. But if you want to do the other chains of Polygon, I think the fees are still fairly cheap. Hopefully, it's still under $1 or 50 cents. I know that I was making transactions for like a penny or less at one point, but I haven't been on Polygon in a while since I had all my Million Token being staked months ago on the Ethereum blockchain for those staking rewards, which in hindsight, I should have started right when it was available, because I could have gotten so much more Million Token. But yeah, the people that got in early, good for them. They got much higher percentages as APY as opposed to, months later when everybody kind of thought it was safe and got in. So, and yep, that's it. I'll do another video later today discussing Bitcoin and this dynamic yield curve right after I'm done with this. Everybody have a great day. Comment, like, subscribe. Please share. Have a good one.